The routines used in these videos should not be used robotically, but more as a starting point to build your skill and toolset when meeting women. In the long run, you'll be better off creating your own and eventually internalize the underlying mechanisms. You want to get to the point where you're able to improvise in a fashion that conveys all the aspects of a good routine as well as deliver the ones you've practiced and know well. All the best PUAs use a mix of routines and improvisation in their game. When creating routines, there are some guidelines for what to keep in mind. You really can open with just about anything. What's more important is what you're sub-communicating and what you say after you've opened. That said, pick a type of opener that best suits your personality and the situation you find yourself in. Experiment with all the different types of openers and see how you do. As a default, you can always fall back on opinion openers, the trusty workhorses of pickup. The basic formula for an opinion opener is the hook. Ask a short question, preferably on a female-friendly topic. For example,
hey guys, quick question. Would you guys read your boyfriend's email if you thought he was cheating on you?
Tease their answer. Riff off what they say. Neg it. Do a quick cold read. Find something interesting and unique about it. For example,
note to self, do not date this girl.
False time constraint. Find a way to initially relate to them that you're not going to take too much of their time. For example,
hey guys, quick question before I get back to my groove.
False time constraints are not always necessary. For example, if you're opening with a direct opener or already have an indicator that you're in the attraction stage, such as an SOI from the girl, another important thing to understand is that just because you've established a false time constraint doesn't mean you have to stick to it, especially if you are able to get to the attraction stage. That's why it's referred to as a false time constraint. The story. Finally, tell the story of why you're asking the question to ground the opener. Give them more information and elicit more conversation. For example,
well, the reason why I'm asking is because a friend of mine thought his girlfriend was cheating on him.
The safest bet is to always choose topics that are girl-friendly, things they want to talk about, like relationships, social dynamics, and pop culture. Just watching these videos will give you an even better idea of the types of topics that will work well when initially meeting women. Use your imagination and what you have around you and in your life, and you'll have plenty of opening material. Many guys who go on a search trying to find helpful information about meeting women tend to have trouble figuring out how to start talking to women, and ironically, coming up with openers is probably the easiest part of the whole game, now that we've provided you an understanding of it. The main goal of attraction is to capture their attention and to demonstrate value quickly without seeming like you're trying too hard to do it. You are under an unspoken time constraint and must be short, quick, and effective in this phase. When coming up with attraction routines, you must keep brevity in mind and go for the jugular in your choice of material, because if you slip up and don't generate interest early, it becomes increasingly difficult to do so as time passes in a cold approach. Humor and IVDs are very reliable for attraction. Be funny or teach her something. Hundreds of books have been written on how to be funny, and most are useless, and we won't try to explain how to do it here. The best advice in this department is to pay attention to other funny people and let it rub off in terms of conversational content and mannerisms. Write down funny one-liners and pieces of material that you think up or hear and simply use them whenever possible. Watch the results and adjust accordingly. Humor can be learned in a non-logical, instinctual way, and it's a matter of immersing yourself in experiences and learning from them rather than reading advice about it and somehow becoming funny just from that. For IVDs and interesting subject matter, read magazines like Psychology Today or Mental Floss for interesting factoids and topics. Turn them into tests and observations that can be delivered quickly, and you will catch people's attention, especially women. These topics or factoids don't even have to be entirely true, as long as they are interesting and sound true. As you may have heard before, it's not lying, it's flirting. Once you've transitioned and moved through the first few minutes after approaching, you can launch into stories and longer routines as the conversation becomes more natural and you've demonstrated some value. Just keep in mind that you are winning over her emotions, not her logical side. Develop interest, create intrigue, make her laugh, feel good, and add value to her day. everything the average everyday guy who approaches women is incapable of doing on an approach. Use negs and disqualification to create the crucial hot and cold dynamic while continuing to demonstrate value in the various ways we teach you in these videos and in the Art of the Pickup DVDs. Then move to qualification and comfort as soon as reasonably possible. The hallmarks of a good attraction routine is that it is short, interesting, and shamelessly utilizes a woman's emotional triggers to get around any defenses she may have built up. Comfort is the bulk of time spent in a successful pickup, and the main thing to keep in mind when using and creating routines is how far along you are and whether you have evoked all the attributes of comfort, namely connection, trust, and intimacy in that order. Early comfort routines should build a connection. That's the time you're still getting to know one another. The goal is to do this on a deeper emotional level and share the important details about your lives without it becoming a job interview. The question game is a great tool for doing this, but anything that gets her to reveal intimate facts and feelings so that you can reciprocate is good. Telling a story that will cue her to reveal something can be equally effective. The objective is to share interesting things about yourself while demonstrating value, avoiding DLV pits, and finding commonalities you can use to your advantage. Next, we want to build trust and the idea that there's a special connection between you. Acknowledging that there's an unusually tight bond and that she's hijacked your brain in some sense can be done however you like it, as long as you do it. This helps eliminate the idea that you're just another guy looking for sex once and for all, if any amount of thought on the girl's part might be clinging to that notion. Doing a vulnerability routine here is good as well to show her that you trust her with your feelings. Just make sure that you're being emotionally vulnerable without demonstrating low value in the process. For example, talk about something from your past which gives her a peek into your vulnerable qualities without talking about yourself negatively at all. The final stages of comfort involve moving the relationship towards greater intimacy and ultimately sex. You'll hopefully have been using the keynote tactics and routines we show you in the videos, along with leading her to kissing to ensure there's physical escalation by this point, transitioning from comfort into seduction. Your routine should become more sexual while keeping in mind her comfort zone, token resistance she might put up, and the idea that the connection you've built with her is special and not just a one-time fling. Also, review the section of Foundations, which covers advanced comfort. It will help explain an additional structure to maximize your interactions and your potential for success. Qualifiers, statements of interest, role-playing, cold reads, and so on are all things you should eventually be able to improvise once you understand the objectives you're trying to reach with each stage and where it fits into the overall structure. The material you're presented with in these videos is great, and you should use it, but more importantly, allow yourself the freedom to be spontaneous. Qualify her based on something she says. Create a role-playing scenario unique to where and who you are. Say what comes to your head naturally and see what happens. You'll need to trust yourself and follow your instincts with the security of having studied these for guidance as to what these improvisations should sound like and what directions to take. At first, you might miscalibrate and make a mistake or two, but that's how you learn. Eventually, when you've used the routines in here, experimented with your own, and internalized the skill set, you'll need less and less canned material and be able to run solid pickup on the fly, which will increase your flexibility and, as a result, your success dramatically.